Check one, check two. I hope my audio was good. Peace, wisdom. Hope my audio was good. Welcome, everyone. Each one teach one. I'm your brother Seneb. I know it's been a while since I've been on, so let's see. Peace, brother Travis. Yeah. The title of this joint right here is Westside Connection. This is actually a dual sort of attempt. One, me mentioned earlier that I've been gone for a while. I haven't kind of been on YouTube. Had other stuff rocking. For those who didn't know, we have a clubhouse room bearing the same name. Each one teach one. We hold similar conversations. So peace to everyone who may be joining us from that environment. So I'm kind of sharpening my sword, getting back into the swing of things as I start to get back on YouTube a little bit more. And also, I was asked via that platform based off some comments that I had made regarding Africans. Peace, Tootie, Teddy, Jesus Christ, what's up? Someone had requested that I sort of show the information regarding Africans being imported directly into the Americas outside of the Spanish. Excuse me. So with this, it's an attempt to sort of answer both those calls, and again, sharpening my sword and providing the individuals that requested such information a chance to see it live. So for those who watching now, thank you for tuning in. For those who are going to watch in the future, I appreciate you for spending your time with us here. Each one teach one. First and foremost, let's take care of business. If you haven't, please follow the channel, subscribe, hit the bell so you be notified when we go live. Check us out on Facebook. The Facebook group is Each One Teach One, and you can still check out the New Black Knowledge or the NBK social group, as well as the New Black Knowledge YouTube group for some of these shows, as well as check out the community posts. You know, the scam guys has been in the building, so if you haven't been paying attention, please check out the community page. I'm sure you'll be entertained by what you find. So let's get to business, because this is going to be, again, a short one. So as I said earlier, in the middle of the 18th century, we can sort of see via the English Africans being imported directly into the Americas via one of the important ports in the South by the name of Charleston. So I'm not going to get into too much of the Charleston history and all that. I just really want to get to the meat and potatoes and sort of give an overview of what I mentioned. So let me get my screen shared. My joint been acting kind of funky this morning, so if it die out, I'll just come back later on. All right, boom, I think my screen is shared. So for those who tuning in and want to follow along with me, you can just search in your little Google joint, Bunce Island. All right, and we're gonna go straight to the wiki page, and later on we're gonna go to the actual primaries to again sort of substantiate this point. So where we at? So a quick history of Bunce Island for those who didn't know. Bunce Island was first settled and fortified by English slave traders circa 1670. During its early history, the castle was operated by two London-based firms, the Royal African Company, at its offshoot, the Gambian Adventures, later the Crown Charter Company, a prestatio subsidized by the Crown. On October 31st, 1678, the Gresham College, the later offered to form the contents of their investment on the island at the grid quarters or whatever. The castle was not commercially successful, but it did serve as a symbol for English influence in the region, where Portuguese slave traders had been established since the 1500s. And we've discussed that history before. Peace, brother Robert. All right, so let's get into some more information about the island. Bunce Island was abandoned until the mid-1740s. It was later operated by a London-based firm, Grant, Oswald and Company. Peace, brother Khalil. Bunce Island was abandoned until the mid-1740s. It was later operated by the London-based firm Grant, Oswald and Company, who took over in 1748. All right. In 1785, Bunce and a number of other dependent islands were conveyed to the company of John and Alexander and Anderson. Throughout the late 18th century, it was a highly profitable enterprise. During the second half of the 18th century, the company sent thousands of slaves from Bunce Island to plantations on the British and French colonies in the West Indies and Britain's North American colonies. Appreciate the 11. Please like, share, and subscribe, and share the show on all your social, media platforms. Links to North America. Bunce Island is best known as one of the chief processing points for slaves to be sold to planters in the Low Country of the British colonies of South Carolina and Georgia, including the Sea Islands, where they developed extensive rice plantations. Rice requires a great deal of technical knowledge for its successful cultivation. South Carolinian and Georgian planters were willing to pay premium prices for slave labor brought from what they called the rice coast of West Africa. Hope we tying this in. The traditional rice growing region stretching from what is now Senegal and Gambia in the north down to present day Sierra Leone, Liberia in the south. Still, records of the Port of Charleston show that nearly 40% of the slaves came from Angola, and that's a discussion on that. You can check out Linda Haywood and Thornton. They kind of build on that one. But I want to get into this individual here. American colonist Henry Lawrence served as Bunce Island's business agent in Charleston and was a wealthy planter and slave trader. He later was elected as the president of the Continental Congress during the Revolutionary War and was later appointed as United States envoy to the Netherlands. Captured by the British en route to his post in Europe during the war, he was imprisoned in the Tower of London. After hostilities ended, he became one of the peace commissioners who negotiated United States independence under the Treaty of Paris. The chief negotiator of the British side was Richard Oswald. That Oswald name just came up again. Remember who? All right, well, I'm going to see if y'all paying attention. The principal owner of Bunce Island. He and Lawrence had been friends for 30 years. Okay. Bunce Island was also linked to North American colonies in America. Slave ship based in northern ports frequently called at Bunce Island, taking on supplies such as fresh water and provisions for Atlantic crossing, and buying slaves for the sale in British islands of the West Indies and southern colonies. The North American slave ships that called Bunce Island were selling from Newport, Rhode Island, New England, Connecticut, Salem, Massachusetts, and New York City. So that's a way to sort of frame what we're talking about and the linkages. So we got Henry Lawrence. That's a tab that we can open up for ourselves, right? We already got, the Bunce Island. So that's a tab that hopefully we've already opened up. So let me show you something. Hopefully y'all can still see my screen. Now, for those who may have seen this before, hopefully it's a refresher, but hopefully this answers the question for those who sort of presented the challenge on Clubhouse. And again, for those who haven't yet, it'll behoove you, if you're still interested in having these conversations or maybe some new faces, some new voices and new perspectives, please check us out on Clubhouse. The room is entitled Each One Teach One as well. So let's get into these records because I know people like to see that. So earlier I spoke about Henry Lawrence from the wiki page, and it describes him as one of the Bunce Island's colonial agents and himself being a planter and a slave trader. I think it's important to sort of substantiate him doing these actions. So this is an account book, 1750 April to 1758 December. And the company that he had was Austin Lawrence. And it says a manuscript account book in an intelligent, unidentifiable writing for Austin Lawrence in Charleston, South Carolina, recording purchases and sales, including accounts relating to the sale of slaves. Description: Austin Lawrence, merchants in Charleston, South Carolina, engaged in the slave trade founded by George Austin and Henry Lawrence, later joined by George Appleby. So in this, we're going to kind of see, what they talking about. Let me see if I can expand this. If y'all can see that, let me know. I want to make sure I want to kind of hit this out of the park the first time. Let me know, fam, if y'all can see that. Testing 1, 2. Y'all still with me? Y'all probably rolling up. So hopefully y'all can see what's on the screen. I'm going to take that as y'all can see the screen. But the title of this page is the sort of the index of the account book, where it gives you the type of cargo, who was received by, where it's from, who owns the account, and then subsequently which page that you can find said information about the cargo. So if you can see the cargo column, you'll see the sundry items, which is, stuff that's not really worthy of being named independently. Sugar, more sugar, linens, sundry items, things of that nature. But as you sort of going down the lines of these columns, you start seeing Negroes. All right, peace, Teddy, thank you. You'll start to see Negroes. Oh, okay, so what's the next column? Received by, this is the individual who signed for it. Where does it come from? It says Sierra Leone, which is an abbreviation. And I can understand that a lot of people may say, that doesn't say Sierra Leone. So we're going to skip that. But we see as we continue that it's dittoed out. So we see they continue to bring Negroes in from Sierra Leone, which, remember, on the previous page, that's where the Negroes are being sent to be enslaved from. Remember that, Sierra Leone, Bunce Island. So next we see another Negroes. Hopefully everybody can see that. See who was received by, and it's from Angola. Okay, so let's go to the page 17. So let's scroll on the side to page 17. And if you're on the the Each One Teach One Discord, you probably already have this, but if you need it, just leave a comment underneath this video and I'll get it to you ASAP. And peace TK let me just do a brief, because I see we got some more people in the room. The title of the room is, not the room, I'm so used to Clubhouse. The title of the channel is Westside Connection. And I was asked on Clubhouse to sort of substantiate when I was discussing Africans being imported directly to the Americas outside of any Spanish sort of influence. And one of the individuals that I spoke about who was engaged in that was a man named Henry Lawrence on Block Coach. I thought I already did that. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I gotta remember how. Hey, peace, brother Ogon. I thought I already did that. I thought he was good to go. But if he is, then I'll take care of that immediately. If I can't do it right now, I'm definitely taking care of that. I'm gonna catch this on the rebuttal. All right, that's peace. Appreciate that, brother Ogon. But I'll take care, Coach. Don't worry about it. Where was I at, fam? Oh, to brother TK's question. What I'm reading from now is a manuscript from one of the companies that Henry Lawrence founded. Lawrence and Austin, which is a company that imported not just enslaved Africans, but also other items and goods coming in from this triangular trade that unfortunately enslaved Africans were a part of. So I'm about to read from his transaction logbook to say where these Negroes were coming from. So if anybody else got any questions, if not, I'm gonna go ahead and continue. So I think we were before sent to page 17 to sort of show, where this stuff's coming from. So it says account of sale at the top, number 134, which matches what we see in the index. It says charges a net proceed of 327 new Negro slaves imported from the ship Emperor Charles Grantham, which is the individual from the index that it received it, commander from Angola. And, you see your terms of payment, how many men, women, boys, and girls. That's why it's difficult to sort of find these names, right? So there's nobody's being named on this document. Hopefully everybody can see that. Oh man. Let's see. Let me check the chat real quick. Okay, now we good. So we follow. So I'm gonna go back now to the index because there's more. Let's see. So if we scroll down some more, we see even Negroes received by voucher. It don't say any voucher from Africa, and it says, I believe that's page 54. I'm gonna make sure I ain't got my glasses on. Let me make sure it says page 54. Please, family, if you're in the chat, like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully everybody being safe out there, wearing your mask, washing your hands, getting the appropriate medical treatment to protect yourself. It does not say Indians. Facts. So again, we see a count of sale, number 153, which matches the index. Charges in net proceed of 168 new Negro slaves received by the Snow, which is a ship. And if you, hopefully we don't have to do this because I'm sure everybody knows, you can just look up Gillian, sloops, Snows. These are different types of ships used during this time period. We're not going to go there because I respect everybody's intelligence. Snow Fortune, Edward Boucher, remember his name was in the index as it being received by, from the, wait a minute, from the windward coast of Africa. This doesn't say Peru. It doesn't say, Technochilon. It doesn't say Zapates. It don't say, it says Africa. Hopefully I'm make sure, because I know some of y'all probably wear glasses too. All right. So we got, and this is 1754, by the way. This is before America was America. This is 1754, Africans being imported directly into Charleston. All right, we ain't gonna beat that. We ain't gonna beat that down to my, ain't no bully. So let's go back to the index, because I want to get to, I believe Gambia was on here as well. And then we're going to get to Bunce Island. I almost missed something. So I wanted to highlight this entry as well. You see how this says slaves? Hope everybody can see it. This is index 138. If everyone can see why my mouse is moving. It says slaves. So where did these slaves come from? Right? It says Barbados. All right, so let's see if we can find. Let's say what page is that? What's that? 40? I think it says 40. Let's see. Yeah, no Indian, no color no more. Yeah, I ain't see that on here. So we see, hold up, make sure we zoomed in good. We see account of sale, entry 138, matches the index. Charters and net proceeds of 10 new Negro slaves. Whoa, now. So in previous entries, we identify who the Negroes were because it said where the Negroes were coming from. But these are new Negro slaves that are being brought in from Barbados. New Negro slaves, received from the Snow, which is a ship. William Cormenta Homes, I think that matches what's in the index. Master from Barbados on the proper account. It gives you the whole info right here. So you seeing Africans who were taken to Brazil, eventually brought from Brazil to Charleston, South Carolina. I almost forgot it. I did that for all the ADOS people. I did that specifically for you, just so you can see that tie. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to the index. I don't wanna be on this topic too long. So hold up, we're gonna go to the right of the screen now. Look where we are. Hopefully y'all can still see that. So we at entry 196, Negroes, and here's another entry for Sierra Leone. Just to tie it back home, and I believe that's page 115. So let's go down to page 115. Hopefully, family, if I'm going too fast, let me know. If some of the stuff you missed, you didn't get a chance to read it, let me know, and I'll go back. Excuse me. So we see another account of sale, 196, that matches the index. Seneb. So you sure that doesn't Europe? You sure that doesn't Europe? I don't know. Oh, what you mean, brother Khalil? So this says charters and net proceed of 63 new Negro slaves received from the sloop Hare, Caleb Godfrey, name on the index, commander from Sierra Leone. Oh man. And this tells you that these merchants, William Vermont merchants in Rhode Island. So it even shows you where the Negroes was going. All right, we ain't going. Let's go back. We're gonna show one more, and then I think we sort of satisfied that point. So I believe it was. Hold on. There we go. What's that? 116. Let's go back to 116. Because I know somebody gonna want to. It ain't say Bunce Island, so we gonna. Hold up. They were doing this to me earlier. Hold on, fam. If I think I may have lost y'all. Hold up. You sure they came from? Doesn't say Europe. No, I didn't see any black Europeans. I didn't see any black Europeans on this. Hold up, my screen froze for a second, but I'm gonna bring it back. We got 19 in the chat. I appreciate y'all on this Saturday coming to rock out with me. Let me get my screen share back. I don't want y'all to miss this. All right, throw this one up. So remember earlier we discussed Bunce Island, or Bunce or Bunce Island, either way is appropriate, and how it was sort of a depot for Africans being imported from different parts of the Senegambia region and being shipped ultimately to, whether it's Spanish colonies in the West Indies or British possession in the West Indies, as well as North America. And these people from the Senegambia region began to populate these areas in Charleston, these Gullah corridors, right? And also, if you want to, we can get into, after I show you this, we kind of go into the Gullah people and how, it's suggested via some of the culture and the languages that can be demonstrated, how these people sort of match the migration, not necessarily the migration, but the importation of their ancestors via a company like Austin and Lawrence to places like Charleston and subsequently Georgia and other places throughout the corridor. So hopefully this kind of answers. Peace, Brother Ali. Is Ado still a thing? I don't know. I mean, I will assume that ideology, political ideology, is still out there. There's a lot of them on Clubhouse. So again, if you're interested in checking us out on that platform, the name is the same. Each one teach one. Each the number one, teach the number one. So let's get into this account. So account of sale. Everyone can see that. Charters and net proceeds of 110 new Negro slaves were sleeved from the sloop, which is a ship, Barkside, Thomas Ashburn, commander from Bunce Island in Sierra Leone River, on the accounts of, which is also important, Oswald Grant. So earlier, if you remember the wiki page, it was describing that Robert Oswald, and I forgot the other name, but his last name is Grant, purchased the island in 1748 and became the agents of the island. Richard Oswald was friends with who? Austin Lawrence. So he became the agent that worked with the Oswalds or the owners of the island to import Africans to the Americas in the West Indies. Merchants in London, owners of said island. So that sort of substantiates the wiki page, I believe. And this is what, 1756? So if we match the chronology, it matches when it's suggested that these individuals bought the island. The record substantiates that these individuals, it says that these individuals own the island. So I think let me stop sharing my screen. Is there any questions? Hopefully I didn't fumble too much on this. I know I haven't been going on a while, and it's my duty. I've been appointed, I believe, the channel historian. So I got to go live more. So I appreciate the 24 that decided to come through and join me in this, just to sort of recap or sort of refresh We've been discussing Bunce Island, which was a sort of depot in the 18th century for Africans to be imported directly into the Americas as early as 1750s. And one of the individuals that sort of participated this action was a man by the name of Henry Lawrence, who was a planter as well as a slave trader himself in Charleston. And via his connections in London with Robert Oswald, he was able to become an agent to again begin to unfortunately import enslaved Africans into the Americas. And again, it supports the time frame. The Gola people are in this region. These people now inhabit the Gullah Corridor. One of the men, famously, who's known for his Gullah ancestry is Martin Delaney. So let's see if I show that or not. I don't know. Let me check the chat out. How y'all doing? Was anything that I covered? Y'all got any questions on? Again, if you haven't yet, it'll behoove you to check us out. Check out our community page. Check out the Discord. I have been on the Discord forever, so hopefully I appreciate all of those who've been keeping that running. So I can find something for y'all, man. Let me see, man. What it do, Brother D-Red, L Brother, the number one. Are you affiliated with, am I affiliated with True Story? Yeah, that's my brother. This Each One Teach One. This is True Story. It's Rob Bourne, it's Jehudi, Sister Kaba, Khalil, is what you mean. It's on you, Seneb. Sorry, I have to share the mic with hey, the scam guys, that's what the people want. I can't get mad. I can't get mad at the scam god, so I can't get mad at the scam god. I'm gonna share something for y'all real quick, man, because I know the scam god's about to come through. We don't take over, we ball blocks, and I hopefully Rob Bourne is ready for that. I just threw that J quote in there because I know we're supposed to have a Tupac versus J. 10 for 10 songs back and forth. So hopefully he understand that ball. Hold on, let me see if I can. So the text that I got before, let me show you the title page. This is the Life and Public Services of Martin Delaney, written by Frank A. Rowland, which is really somebody else that I'm not going to say. And if those been here for a while know, and for those who don't know, please leave your best guess on who Frank A. Rowland is. But this is a biography of Martin Delaney. And I think earlier when I mentioned the Gola people coming from the Senegambia, or some are in the Senegambia, one of the individuals that we know that we can point to who speaks to this heritage is Martin Delaney. So in this text written by Black people for Black people, he sort of substantiates that. So I'm gonna go down to his genealogy. And if you want this as well, just let me know in the chat. If you're on the Discord, it's already on there. Just type in Martin Delaney and it'll come up. So we're gonna let the people speak for themselves. It says Martin Robeson Delaney, the son of Samuel and Patty Delaney, was born in Charlestown, Virginia, May 6, 1812. He was named for his godfather, a colored Baptist clergy who, it appeared, gave nothing beyond his name to his godson. With the name Delaney, a peculiarity illustrative of man himself is manifested. Regarding it is not legally belonging to his family by consanguinity and suspicion of its having been borrowed from the white. As it was the custom of those days, he expressed himself always as thought it was distasteful to him, recalling associations with the servitude of his family. With these associations clinging to it, his pride revolts at retaining that which he believes originated with the oppressors of his ancestors. Oh man, so who's oppressing? Who is the oppressors and who is his ancestors? And though he has made it honorable in other lands besides our own, encircled it with the glory of the steadfast adherent to freedom's cause in the nation's darkest hours, and uncompromising fidelity to his race, thus constituting him of one of the brightest beacons for a raising generation who eagerly awaits the opportunity for its erasure. His pride, his pride of birth is traceable to his maternal as well as his paternal grandfather, native Africans. On his father's side, pure Gola. On his mother's, Mandingo. His father's father was a chieftain captured with his family in war, sold to the slaves, and brought to America. I don't think we gotta read anymore, man. If you want this, I believe it starts on page 15 and reads, I think genealogy goes all the way for another 5 or 6 pages, but you can read what Martin Delaney sort of said for himself. I don't think we have to. Again, I don't want to be a bullet. So let me check the chat out. Hey, Jesus Christ. Hey, the scam gods, I know y'all around, yo. Check out the community page. There's a bevy of scam god art. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna call it. It's art. Check the community page. Peace to the brother True Story and for the artwork. Peace to the brother Raw Born. Peace, brother Thurman. Immortal Truth, peace. Man, so I mean, there's brother, the number one. I don't know if you still in the building, but if you had any questions, feel free. Let me do this. Oh man, 32 minutes, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So the link is in the chat for those who maybe want to come up and speak. Peace, brother Rashid. I just had to say this real quick. Hitler wears Hermes 8 side B is better than side A. I just had to get that out. Sorry. I had to get that out. I think the beat selection is better. It's probably like the Forest Lawn. I think Forest Lawn he always give 2 Chainz them weird records. But other than that, I think it's an album on a song, yo. Literally, I'm glad it was released how it was released because it's deserving of its own packaging. So if you haven't checked out that, man, go listen to that. Go back and anybody want to hit that link, let me know. If you got any questions I'm sure out of the 24, one of them is one of the individuals who asked for this information. And that's why I appreciate what we have with this or the ability of this platform because we don't have to hide behind avatars nor babble. You actually have to show and prove. And this was an attempt to show and prove. And I would like for those who were interested, who may have an opposing view, or if you agree and you feel the information dope and you would like to have it, let me know. I'll send it to you. I have been deemed a historian of the channel, so I would try to go live at least once every 2 weeks. I can't promise you nothing, but certainly once every 2 weeks. Happy born day to the freedom fighter, Nat Turner. Peace to Nat Turner. Peace be upon him. Peace be upon Nat Turner. Hold on, we got somebody. Let's see. Peace, American Dream. How are you? Where do I find those Delaney papers? Well, if you want the life and services of his biography, you can get on that on Google for free. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, yo. Hold on. I'll put the link in the chat for you, but for those who sound on your Google searching, just go to Google Books, type in Frank A. Rowland, and you'll see the book that was published under that name, and you'll see the history of that. But it's free online; you don't have to pay for it. Also, you can check out archive.org. Martin Delaney has all of his, the condition, elevation of the colored people in America. That's on there for free. You can check that out. Let me see if I can do this live. American Dream, are you there?
Yes, sir. Peace.
Hold on, let me turn the volume up. I don't know, I can hear you now. What's good?
Yeah, peace. Blessings.
Peace.
I came in very late, and I was I just had a chance to read the description, and I was just wondering, because I was always curious about, the contributions that, the African nations themselves made to the slave trade, and whether it was voluntary or whether it was, forced upon them. Um, and so I noticed that you were talking about the Bunce people, um, if I'm pronouncing that right. And
The who people?
in the description of the video, it speaks about the BUNC, um,
Yeah, that's Bunce Island.
Bunce Island. Yeah, and their function as a depot for slavery.
Well,
And I was just
yeah, it
wondering if,
wasn't necessarily a people to clarify. It was a landmass that was taken over by the English or after the Portuguese, and was used as a depot to sort of ship Africans off the continent.
oh, okay, I was a little confused. I thought that they were kind of like an African tribe.
I mean, there was African tribes on the coast who were participating in enslaving, other Africans. That happened, but
Right.
yeah, in this
For the
sense, this was
most
just
part,
a location.
right. For the most part, do you think that their participation was voluntary, or if it was kind of, forced upon them in some way?
I
Because
mean,
most of the
it's
people
probably.
that I,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just saying that most of the people that, that or most people generally seem to think that the African participation in the slave trade was more, you know, forced upon them, or they didn't have much of a choice in it. They did it to survive, and what I mean, they kind of try to sweeten it
Um,
up a little bit. And I was wondering, from your perspective, if you felt like that was
I
actually
mean,
what was going on.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think we get into trouble trying to romanticize either one. I think it's important to realize that Africans on the continent were not one monolith. So whoever lost a battle on Monday was on the ship was in the Barracoon on Tuesday, but whoever won on Monday could be in the Barracoon on Wednesday. So that's how we sort of have to frame it. These peoples already had issues with other peoples before they met a European, and sort of how we can see it historically as the Europeans sort of exacerbated and enabled certain conflicts to their benefit to sort of stock their sloops and snows. But there's certainly groups and people who participated in putting people in barracoons. But that's just we shouldn't romanticize it either way. But it's a mixture of both to answer your question.
Indeed, absolutely. I appreciate that. And I think that, as a community, if you will, if there is such a thing as the Black community, um, I think that, and yeah, that just makes me think that when we think about, you know, slavery and slavery happening to Black people, I think in people's minds there's this thought that of what the Black people that were enslaved being this monolith, and that they really weren't. Like, we kind of think of it where it was just white people going over and just enslaving Black people, as if the Black people were just, of one mind frame. And I would agree with you that it absolutely wasn't like that. They were very different people who, didn't necessarily see themselves as one Black community. um and I think the idea of a Black community is kind of like, a modern, I don't know, I think it's just kind of weird to me. I don't want to get too drawn out about it.
No, I feel you. Again, I think if we begin to romanticize it, we will put ourselves in a precarious position. I think it's fine to just say how it happened. I just, when we begin to sort of put one weight over the other, that's when we begin to have, some sort of divisive conversation that don't support building. I just think if we just tell the history how it is and let it stand on its own, I think that's a better way. All we can do with it now is sort of put those lessons learned in application, so we don't allow those mistakes to happen again, or the mistakes that we made, and liberating ourselves to happen again.
Indeed. And in fairness, the reason why these conversations, that I have conversations with people about this stuff, the reason it always kind of comes up in terms of, the African participation, it's always around reparations, because when we talk about reparations, it's always we're asking for European countries, and the Europeans that participated, those are the ones that we want reparations from. we don't necessarily consider what the Africans did. Either we don't consider the African participation to be so severe that it's worthy of getting reparations from them, or we just think they don't have enough enough to give, and so we kind of are not concerned with them because there's not enough for us to get out of them. Let's just focus on the people we feel like we can get something out of. And I don't know. I guess I wanted to hear your thoughts on just the idea of reparations, and whether or not, given the African participation, whether they should be forgiven.
Who should be forgiven?
The African countries that participated in the slave trade.
I mean, that I'm not qualified to say whether or not they should be forgiven. That's a theological question. You dig what I'm saying? Where I come from is understanding how it happened, right? It is more of understanding how it happened, or in understanding how it happened, you can dispel any myths associated with it. That's where I'm coming. Now, if you ask them who should be forgiven, that's that you gotta wait for tomorrow. I recommend pop off one of them preacher people to sort of answer that forgiveness question.
Indeed. Do you believe in the idea of reparations?
Of course, I believe. Of course, who wouldn't agree with reparative justice in any fashion to a people who have been downtrodden as ours? Of course.
Right, but that's what I'm asking you. Do you think that we deserve that from the Africans that participated?
Oh man, that's another good question. I don't know. I think we
Right,
should.
and
I
that's and
think. I
that's
think once we deal with Johnny first, then we can have that conversation internally. But I think we should deal with
right.
Johnny. We should deal with Johnny at the moment.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I think it was
Do you feel you deserve some form of reparative justice from you feel an African nation?
me personally. No,
No.
I think
Okay.
if I was to say that I wanted reparative justice, I think it's then I would be admitting that I'm broken, and I don't think I'm a broken person. I think only broken people ask for reparations for something that never happened to them. Like, I never experienced slavery, and for me to ask
Wait a minute, American Dream.
for money,
Wait a minute, because I hear this all the time. Why do you think reparations is just about slavery?
then I mean, what else would it be about?
Did Jim Crow happen during slavery?
I never experienced Jim Crow either.
Did redlining happen during slavery?
I've never been redlined.
Did predatory lending practices happen during after slavery?
I've gotten some really good loans. I've never
But
been.
but and I
That's never
appreciate you
happened to me.
and I appreciate you answering my question because it points to a good segue because you're interpreting the conditions of a people based off your anecdotal experience, which is
No,
not a
no,
very
but you asked me.
I wouldn't say it's
But
a
you asked
very
me if I thought I
yeah
deserved
of course.
reparations. So I'm
I'm
basing,
asking
and
you,
I'm going off of
what you're
my
speaking
experience.
when you speak of reparations, sir. You speaking it from a sense of the claim of reparation. You said, "Do you think Black people deserve reparations?" You qualified who were getting these reparations.
No, I thought you were asking about me personally. I said
But I
me
mean,
personally.
I didn't ask about reparations. You did.
No, we start. Well,
You asked me, did I feel first that we deserve reparations from African nations, and then we continued with me describing reparations in this country because I felt that it's appropriate to deal with Johnny first.
yeah. Well, for some reason, I was responding to whether I personally felt that I was broken, and the reason I said that I don't think I personally think that I need reparations is because I'm not a broken man. I don't
That's
think that.
I respect that.
Right, and I think that when people ask for reparations, and that's what's being done. We're saying that because of the experience of slavery, Black people today, there's something mentally wrong with them, and
I
so
thought we were good on it, that it's not just about slavery, though.
yeah, absolutely, and it's
Okay.
not just
All right. That's peace.
there are some people for whom reparations is simply about slavery, right? But then there are some people for whom they want to add in, like you said, Jim Crow,
Well, just
redlining.
for clarity, those things are added in.
Sure, and even if they
And for
weren't,
clarity for those in the room who may not know, that the claim currently HR 40, isn't just talking about the enslavement of people of African descent.
right, but
It constitutes the totality of the Black experience in America, to include voting rights, Ku Klux Klan acts, lynching, discriminatory, all those discriminatory legislative disenfranchisement. They wouldn't let you vote for 100 years. Locked out of the political process, not educating your children, killing you, no one going to jail. Those things are what encompasses this claim for reparation, and it sort of harms the claim to solely bust it down to our enslavement.
sure, and I don't deny that at all. I understand that all of those things are added into the bill, like you stated. But the point I'm making is that regardless of that fact, even if it was just slavery alone or all of those put together, when you ask for reparations, you're putting yourself in a position where you're admitting that you're broken. Like, you're broken because of redlining. Like, you never
I mean,
personally
I don't think
experienced.
that's fair for you to sort of categorize, because you say you were speaking for yourself earlier. If you're not broken, that's fine, but I don't think those who are seeking reparations are considering themselves how you're categorizing it.
So why else would they want reparations?
Did you understand the claims that I sort of substantiated?
Yeah, but like from what I understand, um, the way I understand it, because it's about because we're talking about whether people today who live today, who never experienced redlining or never experienced Jim Crow, never
Why do you
experienced.
think those people are not alive?
No. Like someone like a young kid today, for example, a young black kid today, like a newborn black child today is considered to be, you know, him. He
Well,
deserves
I don't
reparations.
think who's getting the bread is being figured out yet. I think it's for the study of how they're going to disseminate said funds. So I don't think we should speak too far into the future.
No. But there's a point I'm trying to make. The point that this newborn child, a newborn black child today, who um born today, like he would be deserving of reparations. And the reason he would be deserving of reparations is because all of the trauma that happened to his ancestors because of slavery, and the trauma that happened to his ancestors because of Jim Crow, the trauma of redlining, all of that trauma now ends up in his cells, and it's inside of him, right? And he now suffers from all of that trauma, right? And so he needs reparations for that, right? Because he can't necessarily function in the world properly because of this trauma that he's suffering from, right? And that's why he deserves reparations. That's why people today deserve reparations. Most of the people alive today didn't
So
go through
American
slavery.
Dream. I think maybe we came to an agreement. You agree with Black people's fight for reparations, correct?
Black people today, no, because they're
So
admitting
you
that they're
don't.
broken. I don't think black people are broken.
Again, we back to the broken thing. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. You discussed earlier
Yeah,
that
you seem to.
excuse me, you said previously that you want broken, and that's why you don't want reparations. And I said it's sort of, we shouldn't sort of say everyone feels that way, but
Right. So I'm
now
against. So I'm against reparations for
you're
black
against.
people as well, because I
So
don't think
wait a
black
minute,
people are broken.
Okay, so you don't think Black people are broken, so that's why you don't think
No,
they should get
I
reparations.
believe that, like myself, black
Okay, that's
people are
cool.
not
I
broken. Black
respect
people
that.
today are not broken. We
That's
are we are a good, like black people. If you
wait a
count just
minute.
black.
American Dream, wait a minute. So I just want to make sure that we can at least agree that the claims in which are being made are substantiated claims, right? So do you believe that a people's ancestors suffer from enslavement?
Do I believe that our
Do you
ancestors
think do
suffered?
you think
Yes.
do you think Black people's ancestors were enslaved?
Yes.
Do you think they were lynched?
Yes.
Do you think they were?
Not all of them. Some of them,
Do you
yes.
think they were? Did the black community deal with lynching?
Back then,
Did the black community deal with lynching? Come on, bro.
back then or
I'm thinking
today.
you being a contrarian. Do you? There's a and it's a good maybe it's a good point I can get to. There's a
No,
text
but you
real
made the
quick. I'm gonna answer. I'm
you
gonna
were
answer your
really
point.
clear on being on
American
whether you
Dream.
were
I'm
talking.
gonna answer. I'm gonna answer your
I'm just
point.
asking if you're talking about back then or
American
now.
Dream. Just give me. I'm gonna answer your point. Give me a second. So there's a text for everyone to sort of answer not only American Dream's, question, but also the overall sense of what lynching was and how it affected black people. The text is called "Without Sanctuary." I believe Hitting Owls, the late great, I believe John Lewis was a part of sort of compiling this collection of lynchings, what I believe start from 1882, documented 1882 to 1963 or 64. I believe. Someone in the chat, please correct me. I'm just going off the top, but in it you see the postcards, the whole nine of descriptions of this, and this is the documented lynchings. It's almost 4,000 people documented that affected the black community. That's for you American Dream. So the time these people, like my grandma was alive still. There's people's great grandmothers, great grandfathers that's alive who experienced this, right? So that's to substantiate that claim. Just for the time period since you were asking. So go ahead.
Um, but yeah, I guess I've said the point that I'm making. I'm not for reparations for myself because I don't think I'm broken, and I'm not for reparations for black people because I don't think black people are broken because of slavery. Black people created um, Black Wall Street 50 years out of slavery. And if those black people that created Black Wall Street so in such a short time out of slavery, if they weren't broken, how are we broken 500,
They asked
400
they
years
asked for reparations too, American Dream.
later? Oh, I don't know particular people did. Maybe another group of.
I think you should check out a young lady named Callie House. As well as even before then in 1783 in Massachusetts, you see black people petitioning their legislature. Belinda Royal is petitioning her legislator for reparations. She wants to get paid
Well,
for her
they
labor, bro. That's this thing is not a new black folks wanting some form of, Harry McNeil Turner in the 1890s, bro, was asking
so
for
are you so
reparations.
are you suggesting that it was reparations money that created Black Wall Street?
No,
No, of course not. Of
when did
course
I
not.
ever, is Black Wall
Black
Street
folks
still here?
created Black Wall Street
Is,
regardless of
sir,
reparations.
is
They
Black
did
Wall
it
Street
regardless of
still
that.
here? Does
I'm
Black Wall
sorry.
Street still exist?
It doesn't matter. We can still recreate it. Why
I'm
can't
just
we
asking you,
recreate it?
does Black Wall Street that you just described still exist?
No.
Why doesn't it exist?
I believe it was destroyed. It was like a
Who
riot that
destroyed it?
destroyed it.
Who destroyed it?
If I'm not mistaken, it was some white folks that thought something happened and went in and destroyed the town.
So did anyone go to jail for that? For them black people who were murdered, did anyone go to jail and get prosecuted?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't know the details like that.
So
Um,
what do you think is important for those who experienced
The
that?
answers to your question, Seneb, is no,
Oh, okay.
no,
Thank you,
and
brother.
no.
Thank you, brother. So
yeah,
to the
but I don't
where
see how that. I
do
don't
you
see.
think that the people who experienced that atrocity deserve some form of reparative justice for the homes that they lost, for the businesses that they lost, the memories?
The
Do you
people
think
that
they deserve?
experienced it, yes, but we didn't
But
experience
they
it.
alive. Two of them just got crowned in West Africa. These people are alive still. Do you think they deserve justice before they transition?
Yes, the ones that are alive,
So that's
absolutely.
what the
If they can prove
reparations
that, yes.
discussion is about, bro.
No, that's not. No, no, no. Now you're kind of conflating
That's
stuff. No,
substantiating a
no,
claim.
that's the no. The people that are looking for reparations from what happened at Black Wall Street in their lawsuit, they made no mention of slavery. It had nothing. It just all they're talking about is what
Why would they
happened.
mention slavery when they weren't enslaved? And this kind of goes
No,
back
all
to
I'm,
the point. Wait a minute,
no.
brother.
What I'm telling you is that's
Wait a minute, American Dream. Because I just think you're being a contrarian at the moment because Earlier, I mentioned that the reparative justice claim isn't just about our enslavement. It's about our treatment following slavery, black codes, redlinings, lack of resources, sharecropping. Those things are also a part of the claim. If you keep, it makes sense why you have this sort of perception, because you're only focusing on our enslavement. Yeah, that happened a long time ago. It would make sense for people not to be broken from just slavery, but it's the subsequent effects of racism and white supremacy. You just got free in 65. It's the totality of the black experience in America. That's the reparative justice claim. You keep trying to single it down to one point in time in our experience here. And I think that's skewing your view.
Yeah, Seneb, let me ask him something. Are you aware that our ancestors were enslaved longer than we've been free? Are you aware of that American dream? Are you aware of that, bro? You know who this is. You done talked to me numerous times. Don't act like you don't know who this is. This your nemesis. Are you aware of that? That our ancestors were enslaved longer than we've been emancipated or free? Why do you always come with this reparations argument?
I don't think he gonna answer it, yo. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing. I just recommend the brother to check out some, Before the Mayflower, LaRon Bennett Jr., Early Negro Writing, Dorothy Porter, African or American by Leslie Alexander, which I think is an incredible book. And I would say first is, see what, black folks were saying, because you individuals may not, go for reparations, and that's fine. I respect that. But if you're going to speak for something that you don't even want, and then when you try to substantiate it, it seems to be unfounded and left wanting, it sort of messes up the claim for everyone else, But it's better to have these conversations in here rather than being on a public stage on C-SPAN, so. And real for clarification, real quick, scripture. Like, it don't matter to me where a brother, a black person is from. Like, I don't have a problem with, anyone speaking on any issue. If you in the diaspora, I'm okay with that. But again, you're not living in America doesn't give you, I guess, the leeway to not be up on American politics or black politics. Because if I spoke on any politics outside of my realm, I would make sure I would be up to date on, the rhetoric.
Sure. Can I ask you a question though?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So I'm just hoping that me and you can come to an agreement, like, because I'm trying to be really clear on what I mean, right? So you see, if like with the Black Wall Street stuff, for example, any individual alive today that can show that they were alive back then and that they were affected by it absolutely deserves reparations. Anyone alive today that can show that they were a slave, right, absolutely deserves reparations. Anyone today who believes and can prove that they were a victim of redlining absolutely deserves reparations. All I'm saying is an average person, right, who just says, I deserve reparations because I'm black and black people were slaves and they went through Jim Crow and redlining. Just a random person like that who cannot prove, like, that type of, and the reason, like, that type of reparations to me is silly. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, this person is like, and that's the reparations that I think is kind of most widespread, and that's the reparations that I think the bill in Congress is speaking about. It's just this random thing where,
again,
because you're
I'm
black,
gonna try to bring us back, get us back on azimuth. The HR is to study how the effects and how to disperse this said fund. So it's not as if once that passes,
I understand, but it's how to disperse the funds under this kind of reparations, where it's just a random black person who's going to get it because he's black, not because he can show that he was a slave, not because he can show that he went.
Do you know where else black people were random?
Okay, but hold
on
on. Do
account
you
books.
understand the difference, though? Do
On
you understand
account
the
books.
difference I'm making?
No, the aimless black person walking around who's in America, somewhere outside of their habitat, had to get to America somehow. Whether he or she knows how they got here is irrelevant to the reparative justice claim. Why? Because socially and legislatively, the United States of America kept a group of people, a specific group of people, underneath their foot, legislatively and socially. So it doesn't matter if, Tyrone know how his great grandma, great 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 grandma, granddaddy got here. It just we already know how they got here. You dig what I'm saying? So that
I
experience,
never said anything about getting
that
here. I don't know. I'm
experience
not really
that
sure
his
where
his ancestors experienced, they not here to receive any reparative justice for it. Since he is a descendant of that, or he or she is a descendant of that, they deserve to get that bread. I mean, I don't. And if you and those like you don't agree with getting it, that's peace. But I don't understand why would you be concerned about a program that you don't even want to partake from.
Again, reparations is not just about um, my descendants were hurt, so give me some money. It's about I was hurt, so give me some money.
That's
And
that's not true, brother.
That's not true at all. And see, that's where you're
That's not
messing
true.
up. That's not true at all. And I'm gonna tell you something. And I don't think you're really understanding the
I
impact
don't
of.
understand.
Hold, stop, because we've been listening and letting you talk, and I'm gonna let you talk when I finish. But
You know that
there's a part that you're missing. There's a part that you're missing, and I think you need to check out Dr. Joyce Degree and her video on post-traumatic slave syndrome. I think you need to check that out because you suffer from that. You really need to check that out. You are sitting here acting like the impact of slavery did not affect you and your family. And it affected everyone that's listening to us and on this panel. And that's the problem. You think you're above us in your mind somewhere because you said you can get good credit. Everybody can get a loan. I got a loan. That don't mean nothing.
I didn't say I could get good credit. He said I couldn't. I don't.
He was using credit as an example, as one of the things that they have used to lock our people out of the so-called American dream.
And I said I don't suffer from that. They give me all the credit I want.
You said we're not
I don't
talking about you
understand.
specifically. You don't make up every black person. You make up you and your experiences. But you're not the people in the 40s. You're not the black people in the 30s. You're not the black people in the 1860, 69,
Right, which is
1877,
why I don't want reparations
1890.
for what they went
You're
through.
not stop.
Which is why I don't want the
No,
reparations you think they deserve.
because what
I'm
you're
not
doing
them.
is you're trying to put yourself in a place and you're not looking at everything. You have to look at everything. You have to look at everything he said, the redlining, the miseducation, the uneducation, the lynchings, the burning downs of our towns. You have to look at all of it, the raping of our young women. The non-enforcement of laws when things were committed against black people by who? The rulers of this so-called nation. You have to look at all that before you can talk about reparations. If you're not looking at all that, you're only talking about half of the picture and you're looking at it from your side only. As white supremacists do, as the Candace Owens does, as the Jesse Lee Petersons does, as the Larry Elders does, as the Coon Scotts do. I'm not finna play with you. I'm gonna come straight at your head because you're trying to come at ours. So come on, bring it.
No, I mean I really wasn't trying to come at anybody's head. I was really just having a conversation with Seneb. But if it's going to be about coming at heads, I'd rather be out.
I mean, no, we don't have to come at heads, but I just would ask that if you make a certain point
When I say come in
You
that
got to
heads,
just
I mean,
pick.
hold on, let me clear that up.
I feel you, Sabio. I feel you. Go
When I
ahead.
say coming at heads, I mean I'm coming at you mentally. Since you want to try to come at us mentally, I'm coming at you mentally. That's what I mean by coming at your head.
Yeah, I'm just saying if we're having a discussion about, you know, you individually not wanting reparations, and that's fine. I respect your opinion, but
So I thought we moved from that though. We moved
yeah,
from
but
me,
I'm
and
kind of
then I was
summarizing
just
so we
talking about
can. I'm
why I
summarizing so
felt.
we can move on. So we sort of answered that question, and we moved on to an overall sense of Black people and their claim. I think we
Indeed.
touched on. You know, substantiating that it's not just about enslavement, and then categorize other aspects of the Black experience in this country as being aspects that's going to be covered under this reparations claim. And you will always go back to, well, that's why I don't want it, but we understand that. So we're not going back to it, brother. You are. So when we bring up a point that the collective of the Black community is requesting from a government that enslaved them and perpetuated their inferiority, you don't have to keep going back to what you feel about what you want, because we already heard you earlier. You don't want it, so that's more money for me and mine if it comes, and we can, you know, I can get another Lambo or something, or get another building or something. So whatever, an island or something, but you not participating. So I'm not trying to proselytize reparative justice for you. You dig? But what I'm saying is it's substantiating it, right? And I think Sabio tried to do that. I did that. Right, so I think we've exhausted that point. The brother Bakari just got on. I want to give him a chance to speak. So thank you, American Dream. You don't have to leave, but we'll come back to you. I'm gonna let the brother Bakari go in. Peace, Bakari.
Peace, Seneb. Thanks for letting me speak, man.
No doubt.
Peace, everybody on the panel in the chat. Look, when the guy called himself the American Dream, when he was speaking, he said, name somebody who was a slave. I came in late, so I'm gonna speak on that. If you was a slave, or if you lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you can name all the Black towns. But what about all these Black farmers who had land taken from them, and their descendants are still here, and you see people and they just take everything. Those people, they are still on that land profiting from what ancestors have built, able to grow when they couldn't grow it, when they couldn't grow anything there, when they gave land to the farmers in, I want to say in Mississippi, that was like the 60s, because they didn't know how to grow. So when they saw the farmers in Mississippi and Alabama could grow, the Black farmers, they took the land back, sold it back to the white people. All this sharecropping money. And for you to say they don't deserve it, now me personally, do I think we're going to get it? That's a whole nother story. But to say that what has happened in the past don't affect Black people is absolutely crazy. It didn't just affect us here. Everything that has happened has affected Black people worldwide. But here, when you talk about reparations, of what he called a reparative justice claim, there's so much you can continue on. When you said the burning down of Tulsa, I can just talk about, with me being from Mississippi, I can talk about how the system and how that state completely broke Mount Bayou, Mississippi, sucked them up. They had to become that was built by slaves, that was built by ex-slave Isaiah T. Montgomery, and they had to become part they had to become incorporated, which means they couldn't be independent no more. Some white guy just driving by, stopped, get some gas, step on the street, on the state highway, from slave money. He ended up getting like $20 million for supposedly a broke ankle. And they completely handicapped, completely crippled the town with money that was saved from what ex-slaves had done and had built. Nobody ever lived there but them. Nobody ever owned a business there but them. But to say they are not owed anything, that's just absolutely asinine, to me anyway. Now I'm done. Thank you for letting me speak.
No doubt. That's peace. Appreciate you for coming on.
Can I respond to that real quick?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just to the point about farmers, sure, if farmers, like I said, we're kind of talking about two different types of reparations, and I'm hoping we can just keep this on the level of, we're just talking about these two different types of reparations. There's this one type where, like the farmers, where they can actually prove and show the paperwork and say, look, this is our land, it was taken from us, and this is our family land, and look at how we've been affected. Do those people, and are those people going through the courts trying to make their case? Yes. Do I think they have a case to make? Yes. Now, and that's the reparations that I do support. If you can show how you personally are affected by it and how your ancestors, and you can show your blood lineage and show that, look, this is me here, right? Now there, and like I said, I thought clearly there's this other reparations where it's just, we're just going to give it to black people just because they're black. Like, that's the reparations that I have a problem with. And I think,
I don't know where that reparation is, and I don't think
I don't know. I don't think anyone has ever talked or ever spoke on that type of reparations.
I agree.
You see, and that's
bro,
the conflation.
How do you mean? That's not true.
No, that's because I've been having this conversation since I was a child. I'm 43 years old, excuse me. And I've been having this conversation since I was about 8-9 years old about reparations, and if black people in America deserve reparations, and why we do and why we don't. And I have not ever heard them specifically say we just gonna give black people reparations because they're black.
But that's how affirmative action works, bro.
No. That is so
how
wrong.
Affirmative action works. If affirmative action works like that, what do you mean reparations doesn't work like that?
Hey, American Dream, I'm gonna ask you to source up now. Show me where it says that in affirmative action.
Affirmative action, you get it just because you're black.
I'm just saying, can you pull up whatever statue where you're at that speaks of what you just said?
That says affirmative action is for black people?
What you just said about affirmative action, show me where it says that.
But what I just said was that affirmative action, all you have to do to get to be a beneficiary of affirmative action is be black. That's it.
Real quick, just so we can get back on azimuth. Why does affirmative action exist?
But that's a whole different question. Like, that's a whole other topic.
You're talking about the leaf.
Affirmative. Okay, sure. Affirmative action exists.
Affirmative action exists because of discriminatory hiring practices.
Right. Affirmative action.
Wait a minute. So I don't think you understand it.
Go ahead.
Who were discriminating? Who were the people discriminating?
White
for
people.
affirmative action programs.
White people were discriminated against.
That's right. That's strike one. Who were the people discriminating against that you needed affirmative action?
It didn't matter which company it was. All companies
it's not about
wait a minute.
Strike two.
American made, that's strike two, right? Because I don't want to think you trolling me, but I'm starting to think you trolling me now, because that's a very straightforward question, right? You want to talk about people just benefiting off affirmative action because they're black, but you don't want to talk about why affirmative action exists. So let's have a conversation. We men up here. Let's just be straight up. Can you please just answer who was discriminating on people so that you needed a affirmative action program?
White people?
Okay. So those white people were purposely not hiring black people because of their ethnicity, because of their skin color. Correct?
I'm sorry. White people and men, because men were doing it too.
I'm saying people who identify as white on paperwork.
Women benefit from affirmative action.
I'm saying, brother,
so white people and men.
People who identify as white on paperwork. Can we agree? We talking about them people.
Okay.
All right. Sure. So those people were intentionally not hiring black people. Can we agree?
Some intentionally, some not intentionally.
Some were intentionally not hiring black people. Can we agree with that? Right.
And some of them it wasn't intentional.
So can we say it was a national practice, social practice, social policy to withhold these types of positions from black people?
It may have been, yes.
All right, you gone.
Sure.
All right, bro. That's peace. We're gonna mute you, yo. We gonna. I'm not gonna keep you off. I'm just gonna remove you for a second, yo. All right. Peace, brother. Moo.
Yep. My bad. I was over here trying to be cool to Seneb, but he does this all the time. He comes over to my channel, and when we talking about the Ottoman slave trade and slavery, and he does the same thing, and he's always gish galloping, never sourcing up, and he's always making asinine comments, and he won't answer a question straight up. He will
Yeah,
might
they
have,
try.
maybe, I don't know. It was probably this, maybe. That's how he does.
Yeah, he good, yo. I appreciate American Dream. Please like, share, subscribe, share the show, wear your mask, wash your hands, do all that stuff, yo. Moo, you still there?
Hey, what's up? Can y'all hear me? I'm in a hoopty, so my shit might be kind of loud. I don't know if y'all can hear me right
Yeah,
now.
I like exhaust. I like hearing exhaust, so it's all good. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Seneb? You from H-Town too, ain't you?
No, I'm from North Carolina, bro. But we got
Okay, yeah.
straight pipe, no catalytic converters too.
Now, I was just gonna say, man, I had a question for American Dream, but more so, I would be interested in really knowing, like, when these people are proven wrong, like him, and they are proven wrong over and over by the data. I really want to know what is the stronghold on them that makes them want to believe things that are not true, that are, in favor of the dominant society. I would be interested in knowing, like, what do they get out of knowingly lying about things and believing things that are not true in order to make the world seem that it's not what it is. Like, what his agenda is, like, what does he stand to profit to believe lies and to promote bullshit?
I'm gonna tell you what it is. You see what the Candace Owens, you see how the Candace Owens and the Jesse Lee Petersons and the Tim Scotts, the Coon Scotts, and all them are blowing up. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I think it's more of a monetary gain. These people sell books, they sell memorabilia,
Right.
coffee cups, hats. They get sort of these endorsements. So it's more of a social thing. Because next thing you know, they got 100,000 subscribers. So it's not really coming from any substance. I spoke with the guy, a couple of days ago. Like I see them as believers. Nothing against believers, but how I discourse with a believer is a little bit different. I'm not expecting you to show me anything. When you don't ask, like the brother, he wasn't answering certain questions properly. And this is not a belief system. When we say these events in our experience affected Black people collectively, that's not an open-ended question. It's been answered already. You dig? So you don't have to understand how you got to wherever you living at in this country. Just know that you weren't supposed to be here. The reparative justice claim is answering how the hell you got here. More so, you dig what I'm saying? So, and then he was fucking on. So he was a troll, yo. That's how. Come on.
Yeah, that's what he is.
He trolling, yo.
He comes over to my channel, and whenever we going in on the Ottomans, and he don't like something that I say about the Muslims and their impact in the slave trade, he'll come in. What about the Africans? What about the Africans? What you mean, the Africans that were being conquered? The Africans who didn't have the weaponry to fight off the Muslim invaders? Are those the Africans you're talking about where you get reparations from? Or the ones who had to make back channel deals with some of these people in order for their tribes not to be taken over, or what? I mean, where do you want us to go? And I just don't understand why he comes over to these channels. If
a lot of it is people who, again, that they trolling, but it really ain't. The discourse ain't for them. It's for the people who listen and who don't know.
They want to
may
cause
not.
confusion.
Yeah, that too. It's COINTELPRO-ish,
Yeah. I'm gonna get off of here, man. I'm gonna say, you know what? Once we realize, I think anything we do would be easy to get if we understand how we need to work together. All the Africans from the continent and the diaspora, because all of us are old reparations. Not just shit. I think America owe all of, because America was bringing them over here. We owe everybody. The whole world owes, and I don't think we'll never.
The whole world owes us.
Owe us, yes. And we're gonna have to stick together. We're gonna have to stop separating, trying to say my slavery was worse than your slavery. My condition was different than your condition. No, we're gonna have to understand that in order for us to get it, we're gonna have to, and I know not because of course it's not gonna be everybody, but we're gonna have to come together and start working together. That's my take on it. But man, I'm gonna listen offline, man. I love y'all channel. Peace, one love.
Oh man, appreciate you for coming through, man.
And you know, when I started taking this dive into the Ottoman Empire and the history of slavery, that's what it made me recognize. We're owed reparations from a lot of different places, from a lot of different countries.
Yeah, that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother channel. Not a whole nother channel, that's a whole nother video breaking down, that's extensive. You may not even be able to cover that in one sitting.
Bro, I've been going into it, and I done basically put every person that I've heard true story and talk about, the Jews, the Radhanite Jews, the Sephardic Jews, the Ashkenazis, they all pop up in my research on the Ottoman Empire. All of them. The British East India Company, the Levant Company, the Hanseatic League.
About the Ottomans for a long. I can remember a while back you was talking about these Ottomans. So,
bro,
I see where you're coming from.
They're very important. A lot of this shit that I'm talking about was forming right after the fall of Constantinople in 1453, and a lot of the shit was happening between Spain, because a lot of the Jews was coming from Spain right over to the Ottoman Empire when they got kicked out of Spain. They went right over to the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire welcomed them with open arms, allowed them to keep their religions and all that. They didn't force them to convert. No, they let them keep Christianity and Judaism. They just made you pay the tax. Oh, they also taxed the holy sites and all that. So they had to pay. So they had to pay just to go to the church. So yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
Man, so let me see. Let's check out.
Hey, but my man.
Oh, go ahead, Mumu.
It's speaking of reparations, and I just kind of came on a few minutes ago. Is that what the conversation was mostly about?
No, actually, it was about. I kind of talked about Bunce Island and Africans in the 18th century being imported directly into either it was the West Indies, but specifically Charleston via Austin.
And that was interesting. I was mad when he interrupted that, came on talking his nonsense, because you was really teaching. And I remember learning about Bunce Island back in when I first got in my Black History class at Forest Park Community College. We talked about it briefly. We didn't go deep into it, but it was one of the stops along the travel.
Yeah, definitely. And then I showed a wiki page, because people sort of against wiki, but it sort of highlighted the owners of that island, which was the Oswalds, or Robert Oswald specifically, because of his relationship with Henry Lawrence allowed him to sort of employ him as that agent. So, and we're also talking about the population of these sea islands with these Gola people, and I also showed Martin Delaney's biography, where he said he was Gola on his, I believe his mother's side or his father's side. But I put the link of it in the chat, so it's there for those who wanna read it. But it's all good, I don't have no problem talking to them kind of folks. They can come on up here. Link is in the chat if y'all still want. I ain't want to go this long, but I felt it was appropriate to deal with or let him speak, because I want them kind of people to talk over here so we can understand how logical a lot of their ideas are. So
right. And people be wondering why I allow him to come on Scripture Rippers when I do shows. It's because I want people to hear how illogical these arguments are and where they come from. Because a lot of these are white supremacist talking points, and he don't recognize it. He thinks we're taking shots at him when we say that, but no, we're not. We're listening to the things that you're saying, and we've heard them come from who? White supremacists. So what else are we supposed to say?
I think he knows they come from white people, but I don't think he identifies them as white supremacists. And that line is beginning to get blurred with our people for some reason, because we realized recently that a lot of us have realized that the Democratic Party is not for us either. So, we used to kind of have a lot less questions for the Democratic Party. And, a lot of our parents and stuff like that, they would just vote. And now that we realize what we realize about the Democratic Party, instead of us coming up with some sort of strategy to do things different politically, what a lot of us doing are just switching to conservatism. And so, you got a whole line of dudes like him that exists now, because it's like they can't think on their own or think and they can't think as somebody who can think as an individual. They can only think along the lines of people who they can follow. So they just went from being Democrats to Republicans, and they think that that's waking up. So he probably don't. He knows that his talking points come from white people, but he don't see them as white supremacists. He just see them as good old white people, allies, good old white allies that just telling black folks the truth.
Yeah. So, and I see that a lot with, the new age. I don't want to call them conservatives, because there's nothing wrong with being a conservative, I believe. But the certain political ideology they have, they don't like history. They don't, one brother's, we're romanticizing it and living it. But I'm like, how can you fashion policies for the future without understanding the past? Like, you have to have a proper understanding for a legislative ass point, what you can and can't, and how you need to move. So it's like the confirmation bias lets me know it's sort of a religious type of, idea. And I agree with you, Mumu, them believing that the Democratic parties failed them, and they leaving, now they're Republicans. So they have to sort of echo these talking points to be associated with this party, rather than forcing a new wave of ideas in that party. So that's a lot with those type of black conservatives, man. And it's weird to me. But I refuse. Go ahead.
So so y'all said he was probably a soft Democrat at one time.
Even to that, I don't think black people historically really focus on the party aspect more than the policy.
Right? I know I did it. I didn't. Right. I focused on the policies, not the party. Whatever, if your policies align with what I think what I thought or was going to help move my community and my people forward, then hey, I'm gonna vote for you. If your policies wasn't aligning with things that I think is aligning with the people that I rock with, then I don't think you're gonna get my vote. I'm really not too Republican or Democratic. I'm more like what your policies are, bro. What you stand on, how you gonna represent me and my people. Are you gonna try to help change some of the situations going on in this world? And if not, then hey, strike.
I don't think, if you're traditional, there's nothing wrong with, some people are set in their ways, but I think we confuse the political social views with the party and legislation views. You know what I'm saying? Like a Green New Deal may be seen, adverse to someone who doesn't want to get away from the current system. That's I see it in more of a political legislative sense, more than just someone suggesting a conservative supports white supremacy when black people were Republicans first. That this shows that we were just more catered to. Like, it wasn't like the Republican Party was like the shining, star. No, they was helping us get free. So at that time we were rolling with them. When they forgot about us, we jumped ship and went to the Democrats, and we sort of did that ping pong thing until where we at now. So I have yet to meet a conservative to tell me what policy specifically benefits or is tailored to black folks, or can explain adequately why the current, voting rights being pushed by their party is necessary. So
I sure can't find one. And I ask all the time. I've been asking this question. What is critical race theory and why is it such a bother? And having no white person I asked been able to tell me what critical race theory is sufficiently.
Because that's how you know it's just rhetoric and it's talking point. These people ain't know nothing about this stuff that young lady has in her project. They ain't know nothing about it. So it's rhetoric. It is when you see them whining at podiums and in local municipalities that should entertain you, that's not going to be able to be supported in Congress. So it's important that these type of things be pushed. So once you bring that awareness during the time of a reparative justice claim, it sort of helps it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't want to get on politics too much, man. I let that, you know, but it really, Bunce Island was the idea, you know, with this joint here, and it kind of went longer than I wanted to, but I appreciate both y'all brothers coming on here. I threw the link in the chat again if anybody else want to come on.
No, I appreciate you, but I had to let you know, if American Dream come on, just be prepared. If you let him come on the show and you have a conversation with him, just be prepared, because that's how he's going to come. That's how he is. I've gotten used to him. He came on Darker Squad. This was my introduction to him. Darker Squad had this Serbian roster on there, and he told the black people on the panel, American Dream, that the Serbian roster was right and that they were being racist to the Serbian roster.
Oh, real quick. Hold on real quick. Why y'all, what's up with Rashid? Comment. I don't know what happened.
Because Why Not Learn said if black people was really into politics or wanting change or something, they would have voted Green Party. And I said, I voted Green Party.
Oh, no,
I actually voted Green Party.
I was just saying about it. His comment was unmuted. Rashid, good, yo.
Oh, yeah, but I voted Green Party. I didn't vote for Biden and Kamala or Trump and Pence. I voted Green Party. And I can't remember the candidate's name, but I did vote Green Party. And everybody was laughing at me, but I voted Green Party.
Yeah, as long as those parties' politics is beneficial to you and your community, like I said, I'm with it. You know, I don't think it benefits black people to be, you know, party loyal. We should focus on being policy loyal. I think that's historically how we move. You know, even though people would say black people vote because Bill Clinton know how to play a saxophone. Peace, bro, Rob.
Peace, good brother. How we doing?
I'm well, man. Good to hear from you.
Damn, he jumped off quick.
I think about voting, bro. I think our issue is that, number one, we don't have a party or a candidate. And I used this example a long time ago, and I'll use a new example along with it. I pointed towards Julius Malema and the EFL. They came into South Africa with a whole new platform on a whole, like, you know, they had their own set of ideas. And they built themselves from the ground up to get people to support their ideas from being in the ANC, which the ANC over there is like the Democratic Party. So they eventually broke away from that, you know, and started their own. So I think we need a candidate. And I look at Trump and what Trump was able to do. Trump was not a traditional Republican candidate, but Trump captured the thoughts and ideas of the white people who are far right, who usually don't even vote. He captured a lot of people that don't even vote, or he captured like their whole ideas and stuff like that. So we need to focus on building us up a candidate and a strategy for that candidate to win, instead of always just trying to vote for what they give us. We can't win with our own party. If I say we had to run a candidate in a party, it'll 9 times out of 10 be the Democratic Party, not because the Democratic establishment is for us, but because liberals in this country are more likely to vote for vote in favor of black politics than conservatives would.
Man, hey, I wanna piggyback off of you, Moo. Hopefully I ain't jump in too soon. But I was having this discussion with our brother Top Cats the other day. He was saying that black power is detrimental to the community because we support Democrats and we support immigration. And so I appreciate you making point that, you know, we need a candidate and not necessarily a party. What everybody got to understand is that politics is the business of spending our tax money. That's what it is. Politics is the business of spending our tax money. And if we don't have somebody at the table directing the finances, the resources to our community, then I mean, basically we in the game, but you know what I'm saying, we not in the game.
Somebody else spending our money.
Tenfold.
Spending that money for us.
Exactly. And they get to make all the decisions. And so, you know, I'm in education right now. And my idea is, like, once I got my community service projects off the ground and they visible, I'm certainly thinking about going into politics. That's why I switched my avatar to the, you know, presidential bro Rob. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm certainly trying to line myself up to be able to make a political run locally. But you know, Mumu, again, I appreciate the point, dog. There is a two-party system in this country. We have to realize that those are the facts. And if we continue to believe that somehow a third party will be viable, we run the risk of making ourselves, black people, I'm saying, making ourselves politically irrelevant. You know,
I disagree with that, because America isn't really a two-party system. It's a multi-party system.
A multi-party.
There's two dominant parties, but America has always been a multi-party system. You have always had liberals, independents. You've always had more than just the Democrats and the Republicans. Always.
And what elections have those other parties? What major elections? Now, tell me the last senator or any governor that was part of the Green Party or any.
Bernie Sanders.
That's not right. That's one guy, and he ran as a Democrat for president. You know why he didn't run as an independent? Because he know he didn't even win as a Democrat, but he damn.
But see, I understand what you're saying, Mumu.
See,
And no one's arguing that. But see, what I'm trying to get people to understand and get him to understand is that America isn't a two-party system. These two parties have just started becoming dominant.
Well, I just to give you a little pushback, brother, right? At one point in time, it was Democrats and the Whigs, right? And the Whig Party, they were losing favor with the people. And this opened the door for the Republican Party, the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there has not been another third party that is viable enough to win national elections, state elections, maybe local elections, but not national and not state.
You said something that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Local. That's where they start.
Well, yes,
at the local level. If they go from the local level, once they go from the local level, they get to the state level. It's progression.
Absolutely.
People are trying to go from the local level straight to the national level.
Well, I mean, both me and you agree on that point, that if a third party was to be politically viable, it would have to be local. It would have to be, because nationally, the Green Party does not. The last Green Party candidate to do any numbers was Ross Perot. We talking 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? More than 25 plus years ago now. He was the last one where I think he got 3.5%, maybe 4%.
Yeah.
You know, and I might be overstating it. What I'm saying is, and this is why I'm saying that we run the risk of becoming politically irrelevant. Obviously, the Republican Party does not share what Black people are trying to do. They are conservative, traditionally. What are they conserving? They can serve in that good old boy system, that white supremacist system, the dominant society system. That's what they are conserving. Our political goals have always been somewhat liberal. And the reason why we would say that they're liberal is because they're different. That's all it is. They're just different than conservative views. You know what I mean? And so that's where the conflation comes in. That where just because the Democratic Party might be with the alphabet people, the LGBTQ community, that doesn't mean that everybody that's a Democrat is for that. But those are liberal views that are put on the national stage, voted on in Congress. It becomes a law. You see what I mean? So if we not aligned with the Republican Party, and then we beat up on the Democratic Party, what will make the Democratic Party listen to us? And then the Republican Party is not listening to us. You can see how what I'm saying kind of lines up with the political reality in which we live, where we have two very strong political parties that they win pretty much all of the national elections and state elections. So what we have to do is, like Amari Baraka said, build a nation within a nation. That's what he was talking about in that book. Build a nation within a nation. We just need candidates that can run, got squeaky clean backgrounds and things of this nature, so that they can get to that table, and then we can actually start this reparations argument that we've been talking about for so long on here. But look, man, I just wanted to hop on real quick. I ain't got a chance to chop it up with my brother Seneb and Rob Bourne and Danny for a minute, man. I'll be mad busy, bro. But man, love y'all, and I love y'all channel, love y'all content. I talk about y'all all the time with my students, and I just want to
appreciate that, bro. Any dialogue with y'all is appreciated. I'm gonna come back on more. I've been taking care of some things, but you definitely gonna see us as well as you see us on Clubhouse. I'm gonna try to do the same effort for YouTube. So today was a way to do that with Bunce Island. So for those who are just tuning in now, when you replay the video, we were discussing Bunce Island and Henry Lawrence, and I reviewed a couple primary and some source material showing Africans being unfortunately shipped to the New World via these measures. And we got into another dope, interesting conversation about politics and black people. So that may be a different room. You know what I'm saying? I may come back on later on tonight and we do a sort of black powernomics or black politics room. I haven't done one of them in a long time. I think Mumu was on for the last one we did in regards to black politics during Reconstruction. And, that's my favorite time frame. So let's see, be on the lookout for that. I may come back on towards the, later on tonight, 9, 10 o'clock, and we'll do a black politics, and we'll get some ideas and some conversation about how can we and how should we move in that arena.
Yeah, and I want to speak. Nemesis had brought up a really good point about the different types of Jews moving over to the Ottoman Empire, right? Well, we have to keep in mind, right? January 1492. Isabella and Ferdinand, they have effectively pushed the last of the Moors out of Grenada.
Yes.
And at this point, the Spanish Inquisition is at its highest point. So for people who are not familiar with the Spanish Inquisition, if you were not Catholic, they gave you a short period of time to get out of the country. But most of these people are vested. Most of these people, because Spain is a exporting country, still is. And the Portuguese have found a way to India around South Africa. And so this gave them a strategic advantage. So a very wealthy, famous family in Spain called the Lombards, right? The Lombards are the people who gave Christopher Columbus, he married into the family. His wife was a Lombard, but he, you know, in his writings, you'll see that he talk about his mistress. I believe her name was Beatrice. But anyway, his wife was part of the Lombards. So, you know, in layman's terms, Christopher Columbus married for the money. Right? And
he was a criminal.
yes, he was. He was. And our master teacher, basically, he John Henry Clark, I'm talking about, talks about it all the time, how he sailed up and down the Guinea coast for 20 years. Right?
What?
Doing what? He was slave trading. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. But those Jews that were in those small hats that were in Spain, right? Some of them stayed because they were vested in Spain. Their businesses were in Spain. Whereas the other ones went to the Ottoman Empire. So that was an excellent point that you had brung up. And it was all brung on by the Spanish Inquisition. Of course, the Spanish Inquisition starts years before, but it is pinnacle in 1492. So though all of those things happening at that time is what got people moving. You know what I'm saying? And got people making alliances. And that's the other thing that black people, we got to understand. We are in a war. We are in a war.
And in war, alliances are formed.
Yes. And this is our problem, though, brother. We don't know who to aim at.
Right.
We in a war and don't know who to shoot
at.
And so alliances can be broken. You know, at one point in time, the United States was in alliance with Russia during World War II. Look it up, y'all. Now they were our ally.
Yeah.
At the end of World War II, what ended up happening? We ended up starting a war with them called the
Cold War.
So these things are very important to understand. I would say the Ottoman Empire, and this is just for the listening audience, people that might be familiar. The Ottoman Empire told them Europeans, "Hey, y'all not coming through here to get to India no more."
What?
This
y'all
is
gonna have to find a new route.
Yeah, there you go. This is why the Portuguese were so motivated to find another way to India, and they sailed around South Africa.
So if y'all remember when I spoke on the pirates, the taxes and all that the Ottomans were enforcing and putting on their goods coming into the Ottoman Empire from where? Europe, Spain, and all that. These are other reasons why they had to do what? Find other routes. They weren't trying to get raided by them Ottoman pirates. Had them ships sunk. They goods stolen and and they weren't trying to pay those extravagant taxes. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I would say that for people who are not familiar with this man, his name is Peter the Navigator. Now, don't let the name throw you off. Peter the Navigator never sailed on a ship or anything. He was like Google at this time. He collected all of the notes, all of the writings of the sailors and their travels, and of course he was speaking to the Moors. This is the first university in the world at that time. He's speaking to the Moors, and so the Moors are telling him, no, the earth is not flat, and and Christopher Columbus had contact with some of these Moor sailors, and so that's why.
Can I throw this jewel in there?
Tenfold.
Because one of I don't know if people are aware of this, but Christopher Columbus's slave was Pedro Alonso Nino, and he was a Moor, but his father, Pedro Alonso Nino's father, was Christopher Columbus's first slave.
Yeah, and Pedro was the navigator of I believe the second voyage, either the first or the second voyage. I cannot remember off of the top. Man, I'm not looking at my notes. I want to say he's the second navigator. He's the navigator of the second voyage over here to the New World. But this is a it's a pivotal time in history, 1492, pivotal time in history. And I mean, of course, we know what Christopher Columbus did, and just wanted to throw that in there just for prosperity, if you will. But y'all go ahead and keep building. I'm listening.
Yo.
No, I was just about to end it. Appreciate you brothers for coming on here. For those who haven't, please like, share the show. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when we go live. To Bro Rob, Scripture Riptures, American Dream, Moo. Thank you to you brothers for coming through, and Bakari as well. Thank you for you brothers coming by, stopping with us. Yeah, I believe that was Henry the Navigator in the 14th century. You know, but man, we're gonna check out tonight. I say look around 9:30, 10 o'clock, man. I'm gonna come back on and we can do that political conversation. You know, I think that was a very interesting segue from the Bunce Island conversation. So appreciate you brothers, man. Everybody,
All right, bro.
be safe, wash your hands, wear your masks. Peace to the brother Rob, peace to the babies. Y'all have a good afternoon, and hopefully I'll see y'all later on tonight. Peace.